in this kind of Mahayana Buddhism that I've fallen into, there's this really, I'll tell you what I like that's subtle and delicate. I'm not so comfortable with the incredibly subtle and delicate movements of the tea ceremony, you know. But, and you know, you have to sit in a certain way and you have to pick up your little tea snack in a certain way. That part doesn't inspire me so much. But the subtle way of using language in this tradition, I really love.
That's your art.
No, but it's not only language, but it's like Nirgun Sagun. It's like this is the most wonderful appreciation of the subtle relationship of what we could also call Nirgun and Sagun, or of emptiness and form, as it's called in Mahayana Buddhism, of any kind of religious community that I've sampled, you know, that's available. They're very playful because they know that a person can get caught in either side, form or emptiness. You can get caught denying the reality of the phenomenal world and becoming too detached and thinking you're enlightened. And you can, of course, get caught in attachment to things and to yourself. So the stories, the Zen stories, and also the way of interacting between people in Zen communities are very playful with talk about those two sides, the form and emptiness side. If you look at some poetry, some of the Zen poetry from China and Japan, it's like that. It's some of the poetry really shows you somebody waking up from a particular, I mean, they evoke the particularity of the moment, you know. Oh, that vase. Oh, the blue sky is shining in that vase. And somehow they write the poem so that you realize that that fact is the fact on which they awakened, you know. Mm-hmm. There's so many stories, you know, that the koan stories, or the little teaching stories from China and Japan, where like the student comes to the monastery and addresses the teacher and says, I've come here to practice. Please give me some encouraging word that will inspire my practice. And the teacher looks at him and says, have you eaten your breakfast? And he says, yes. And he said, then go wash your bowls. You know, end of story. Just surprising you. Instead of saying some philosophical thing, say, I mean, that one is about ordinary mind is the way. Some of them are so subtle that they sound like nonsense, you know, or some of them are koans exactly for that reason, because they're given to, because you can't understand them very easily. And they're given to a student to just kind of chew on and to try to, yeah.
So to surprise you out of normal ways of thinking.
Yeah, it's really a hard job to get us to abandon our complicated and kind of rigid conceptual categories, because we find comfort in categories. You know, categories, we say, okay, this is this reality and this is that reality. And that's how we, and also that's the nature of the brain, right? The brain thinks in categories, right? We're afraid we'd go crazy if everything was just a discrete particular. So we make classes of things, you know. And that way we manage our functioning in the world. But to get somebody to, I don't know, to really abandon every kind of thinking that makes us feel secure, that's quite a challenge, you know. So teachers in Zen tradition, they try to do that. Well, Kabir tries to do that too, right? It's not just Zen. This just happened to be what the, you know, unfolding of global history brought to California at the time when I was looking for a practice, and it suited me. And I thought, well, I'm already so involved in India, and this is so Japanese, but too bad, I love it, you know? So.
And how does Kabir try to do that same thing?
You know, just always challenging, getting in your face and asking questions and posing riddles and leading you on. He'll lead you on, and I'm talking about the Bijak. I studied those poems, you know. Lead you on as a reader or listener, and then get you feeling just like you think you've got it, and then he'll just slap you, you know. He'll do something that shocks you and say, ha! You know, or he'll pose a question that you can't answer. And then he'll say, if you can understand this, it's like he's getting you to go to some other level. Say, if you can understand this, good, you're a guru, I'm your disciple.